YouTubers, this is another video from me here, Evelyn. But today we're going to be reviewing or giving the best highlights about the romantic K-drama series Doctor Slump. Now, I don't do many of these, I watched them, but I don't do many reviews of that because the plot lines could be not that interesting. But the reason I'm going to be reviewing Doctor Slump, it's again the portrayal of mental health issues in Korea, which sometimes they don't portray realistically. I saw the Daily Dose on Sunshine, I probably should have done a review on that. That gave a most accurate portrayal about how it is to go through mental issues. It's not all rainbow and sunshines and looking pretty, that sort of stuff. Now, Doctor Slump is with the main two actors of Park Hyung-Sik and Park Shin-hye. Now, with Park Shin-hye, I believe she recently became a new mom, got married, and I think maybe this is like a comeback K-drama. And Park Hyung-Sik, you may know him from the series Happiness. He did some cameos in Strong Girl Namsoon because in connection to the series he did originally. So the premise is both characters are two doctors. In their time of their life, they went to the same high school and they competed competitively with the academics. But as time passes by, the character of Jong-woo, he becomes a plastic surgeon, he's popular, his pictures everywhere, he's aka good looking. And Park Shin-hye's character of Han-ul, she's an anesthesiologist. So I think it's kind of good that in this series they're portraying different roles as a doctor, because traditionally we don't think about what else do doctors do, because in a surgery we have the surgeon, we have the second lead, but of course the anesthetic part is a science and needs to be, studied, because of course let's say you're in an operation and you're under for 8 hours. To keep you still alive and not reacting to the surgery, you have to be under anesthetic, but you can't be under too long because there's always complications. So the main part is the series is describing the pressures within the society of Korea of perfectionism, achieving great heights no matter what, and that receiving abuse from your superiors, it's a rite of passage, which I think is not conducive, and I understand that they're trying to portray that. So Han-ul, she dedicated her whole life for studying, because we understand, I've seen up to the most recent episode so far, that her dad was sick for a very long time and he passed away, and the only way she found that he could make him excited during the illness is when she got a good report card, so she sacrificed everything. So her dad dies and she's like living with her mom, her brother and her uncle, like the mom's brother, and it's a good family unit. But until one day Han-ul, she burns out. She's receiving abuse from her superior. They're manipulating, abusing her services, and she ends up getting, I believe an ulcer, or I think her gallbladder gets taken out. But in the midst of trying to handle the pain and brushing it off, she collapses in the middle of the crosswalk, and her truck manages to almost hit her, but she collapses and the truck goes through. And afterwards, she gets diagnosed of having depression, because she goes and says, in that moment when the truck was about to hit me, she thought, what's the point? So she goes to a psychiatrist and he says, you have depression. Now, my gripe so far is portraying mental struggles, PTSD, depression. It's the acting. I know it's a romantic comedy, but sometimes it's a bit too over the top. With Park Hyung-sik's character of Jong-woo, he acts exactly the same way when he did Strong Girl Bonsoon. There's an over-exaggeration of acting, almost like a Disney prince type of acting. It reminded me when I've seen that animated film Tangle, like the main lead being like a little bit over the top, thinks too much about his ego, and it's kind of hard to distinguish when he's serious. So Han-ul, she goes and leaves the job finally because she's had enough by all reasons, but her family needs to come to terms with her having depression, because at first the mom doesn't understand it, like in any typical old generation, like, oh, just fight through it, it's a normal thing, why are you doing this? Because of course when you come from, let's say, a lower class, no, I don't want to say a lower class, but a hard-working family, the bread and butter type, and your aspiration is to have your child be 10 times better than what you do, you don't see that sometimes it could be more harming than being positive, because there's nothing wrong. We all need people to do, the needs to run a restaurant, to pick up the rubbish, to do all those little jobs that we take for granted. Everybody has a role for some some parts. Now with Park Hyung-Sik's character, he has a plastic surgery operation gone horribly wrong. Apparently an heiress from a casino in Macau. Now if you heard of Macau, it's meant to be that island full of casinos, luxury. I don't know if it's connected with China, Taiwan, I don't know. But you know, you see in those films that Macau is meant to be a place for the gangsters, the gamblers and the rich. Something goes horribly wrong when he does a plastic surgery of reconstructing this woman's face, that she doesn't stop bleeding and she ends up dying, and end up accusing him of injecting her with a anticoagulant that's stopping her blood from clotting, and that was the reason why she died on the operating table. But however, we find out that Jung-woo's character, that there's somebody targeting him, because as the episodes progress and he's doing the court cases, they end up finding a vial in his clinic with his fingerprints, and he's like, what? And he loses everything. He has to sell his plastic surgery practice, sell everything, because he's in billions and billions of pounds in debt. So by fake coincidence, he ends up living in the rooftop of Hanul's mum's restaurant, which he doesn't know, and both characters ending up meeting each other. The positives of this series is when you meet somebody else that you knew that's also hit rock bottom, and you're going back to recuperate your life, to do it together, so both of you are not hiding anything. You know each other's dirty laundry. And as the series progresses, we find that Jong-woo ends up falling for Hanul, but Hanul also does the same, but there's that miscommunication. And also Jong-woo, he's obviously has PTSD over the surgery of it going horribly wrong and all the ramifications. So Hanul goes and helps Jong-woo to recognize that and get diagnosed. So I haven't reached towards the end. It's the main, we all know typically in these shows, the main end is finding out who's targeting Jong-woo, and of course whoever's seen the latest episode, spoilers if you don't want to see, I know that Hanul gets into a car accident with this other guy that's in connection with Jong-woo. Now the big thing is, of course they always like to do the mysteries and stuff, but the portrayal of mental illness, they say as simply as this poor girl's like depression, but I think it's a bit more. I think they would go and make this series a bit more developed if they diagnose this girl with bipolar disorder. Now, am I stereotyping with the way she's acting? Now, the mom, she comes across as, you know, over exaggerated. For one moment she's very happy, the next she gets really depressed. So can they be, you know, we know mental illness can be inherited and it can be triggered by certain stressful factors. They should do that. But with Jong-woo's case, it's not like he has all reason to be, you know, traumatized because there's somebody targeting him, because in the other episodes they find that in his clinic that there was his spy camera pens that was watching him. And the biggest bit, because the series is not finished yet, but it's to find out who's targeting him. Now, I have a theory. This so-called older brother figure in Jong-woo's life, I think he secretly likes him, or God knows what, because he seems to be always in the middle. And with Hanul is her experience of finally maturing and growing up and being interactive within the world. Can I say this is the greatest portrayal of mental illness? No, it has good comedy, leaves you laughing, and there's some certain aspects of this show that is trying to do like a caricature or certain maybe societal thinking within Korea. Now, I don't live in Korea. I don't know if this is true or false or whatever, but of course, when we see, you know, these K-dramas, it's meant to be somewhat of reflection of the culture within the Korea. I hope in the next 10 years or so that there could be a different shift of making like life not easier, but to understand that at the end of the day we're all human, we're not machines, we're not robots, we need time to reflect, relax and be in a positive environment. Now, this is the end. You let me know what you think about the series so far and if you like it, and if you've done any comments. As I leave it always, stay safe, and to any new viewers, I really appreciate we can hit the subscribe button. As I leave it always,